Soul, ATLFM.com, welcoming you to our YouTube channel on Southern Soul. I am joined by my co-host, Mac Beats, from the HotboxFM.com. I will be bringing Mac Beats in shortly, and we will be talking about Southern Soul sports, and we are very excited. This is our first show on Southern Soul sports. Of course, many people realize how big Southern Soul sports really is. And so we'll be taking advantage of that and making you aware of the latest Southern Soul sports news. In Atlanta Falcon news, exactly 3 months after signing Kirk Cousins to a $180 million contract at the start of the 2024 NFL free agency, the Atlanta Falcons have been penalized for improperly pursuing quarterback Kirk Cousins. The NFL announced Thursday that Atlanta had improper contact with Cousins and other free agents, requiring the Falcons to forfeit a 2025 fifth-round draft pick and pay a $250,000 fine. Wow. $50,000 has been fined for the general manager, Terry Fontenot. And the NFL announced, which included improper communications with wide receiver Darnell Mooney and tight end Charlie Werner, the two of the club's other 2024 additions. While the NFL tampering policy permits clubs to engage with and negotiate all aspects of an NFL player contract with a certified agent or any prospective unrestricted free agent during the 2-day period, any direct contact between the player and employee or representative of the club is prohibited. This includes discussion of travel arrangements or any other logistical matters which the club acknowledges took place with regard to these three players. In other words, Cousins and his fellow Falcon newcomers were found to have communicated with Atlanta during the negotiating period, specifically per the NFL insiders that were likely involved. And they were probably talking about logistical administrative errors, such as making travel arrangements after the players agreed to terms on their contracts. Now, this comes down to the Falcons actually being assertive and aggressive, which they need to be patted on the back after losing these last seasons, 4 and 5 seasons, and they really haven't played up to our expectations. The general manager, Terry Fontenot, was fined $50,000. Now, I'm going to tell you, between me and you and the air we breathe, the general manager would not have done this without Arthur Blanc's permission. He definitely had his hand in the cookie jar, because the general manager probably can't afford to pay a $50,000 fine for doing something wrong and possibly lose his job over $50,000. The Falcons also have to pay a $250,000 fine. Wow. That's unbelievable. But at any rate, it's probably necessary to get us out of the doldrums. Thank goodness they did something. Come on in, Mac Beats.
What's happening?
Man, it's good seeing you.
So you think Arthur Blanc was in on it?
I think he definitely was in on it, because the total amount of fines is $300,000. If the general manager had did that on his own, he would have been fired.
Maybe he has a special type of relationship with Arthur Blanc and the upper management. It could be that he got permission, but maybe he was told not to get caught.
It would have been so special that he wouldn't be able to have a job in the NFL either. That's
Wow.
how special that would have been.
Right.
Right. So Anyway, the Falcons went all in on this situation, and to their credit, they really needed to go all in at this point because we're tired as commentators and fans of losing seasons. Now, the Dallas Cowboys, Mac Beats, are largely non-existent with their contract negotiations with their star quarterback, Dak Prescott. And it's hung over the organization like an amble through this offseason, but an alternative solution at quarterback could be on the horizon. Dak Prescott, the Dallas Cowboys, $55 million, $132,000 cap hit in 2024 likely played a significant factor in the Cowboys largely sitting out free agency and the franchise's inability to sign prolific wide receiver CeeDee Lamb or all-pro linebacker Micah Parsons to a long-term contract extension this offseason. Now, I'd like to stop right there and just mention that salary caps are the destruction, in my opinion, of the NFL because, and I understand the other side of the coin too, the other side of the coin says that the salaries go through the roof and that there is no balance as a result of the market.
Well, wait, I have a question.
Okay, go
What's
ahead.
the profit cap for the owners when they make money?
There is no cap.
Wait a minute. If they make too much money, it'll be out of balance.
That's the issue and problem I have because the salary cap prohibits players from really earning their full potential in terms of money. And so the money is there via TV. So and the gate. So, but the argument is they have to have a salary cap to keep things in balance and perspective.
We need a profit cap too to keep everything in perspective for the owners. We need to make sure that they're not getting all the money. We need to make sure they're not spending it in bad ways. We gotta bring some balance back. I mean, anytime it's been a bunch of guys where somebody's the owner and somebody's running back and forth on the field, there always is a way to try to take advantage of those guys running back on the field when you're talking about owners. So it's been a long time where they'll find new ways and other ways to make money off of these guys and not cap themselves, but definitely cap their salaries. And see, the argument that the owners use for the NFL is the same argument that the business owners that lobby the Congress to keep the wages low for the minimum wage. They use the same argument. That's why the wage is so low right now. For a lot of people that are listening, they're telling me about how the wages and the rent prices kicking their behinds. It's almost synonymous, even though we're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars, but it's synonymous.
I get your point there, and I just would like you to know and for everyone to know that the NFL has a 501(c).
Right, the league doesn't pay taxes.
Right.
But the players do.
Yes.
The players pay taxes. They definitely pay taxes.
Right. So it's kind of complicated here. So
no, it's just normal. That's just normally how business work. Anytime you have owners and then you have employees, that's always the way they want to do the employees. And I bet you the players pay a lot more in taxes than the owners. I bet you.
Now that's something we need to look into. But in other Cowboy news, there's a possibility that Russell Wilson might be going to the Cowboys from the Pittsburgh Steelers following 2 disappointing seasons in Denver. There's a possibility that he might be going to the Dallas Cowboys. And the former Seattle Seahawks Super Bowl winner signed a prove-it deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers this past offseason. So Wilson is set to complete with Justin Fields and acquired via a trade with Chicago Bears for the starting job and perhaps even as an audition to be the Steelers' long-term solution. However, according to at least one NFL analyst, Wilson could be on the move again after next offseason. I think Jerry Jones is probably upset and pissed off because this $55 million cap hit that Dak Prescott is providing because of that salary he has, and he has decided not to negotiate and bring his salary into a long-term negotiation, spreading out his money and his salary hit down the line. He has declined to do that. And so there's a total amount of salary hit that's going to hit his contract and the Cowboys, and that's going to hurt the team in terms of signing Michael Parsons and CD Lamb for long-term max contracts. So that's the tough place that Dak Prescott has put the Cowboys in with Jerry Jones, and because Jerry Jones is saying ouch, he wants to get somebody to replace Dak if he can. Mac Beats.
Man, you can't replace Dak, especially how he came in when he first came into the Cowboys as a backup. He shifted so fast. Romo was looking at how he played and said, "Nah, I'm gonna go ahead and let him get this one." And that rarely happens where somebody just wants to cede power willingly, especially in this game and how this works. But Dak is a heck of a player.
I agree with you, Mac Beats. He is a heck of a player, and either way it goes, he's still going to make that money, whether he makes it in Dallas or somewhere else. So they should just go ahead and pony up that money. That's what
they really should.
That's right. And so the NBA, at this point, by the time this airs, will probably be finished. The Boston Celtics and the Dallas Mavericks will have probably concluded their series because as of this airing, the Celtics are leading 3-0. And if they win 4 games, they win. So at this point, it's 3-0. And at this taping, the Dallas Mavericks are looking pretty...
It's looking hard for them right now.
Pretty hard, yes.
I'm looking for a broom, but I can't find it. The Celtics just grab them and just sweeping.
You're
every
right,
time
right.
Jason Tatum get up there, he just get to just, man, his defense is so clean and his offense is tough. It's hard.
I want to shout out to Mike Love, who's in Dallas, Texas. Mike Love, one of my colleagues, radio colleagues, and he's always been a Lakers fan. All of a sudden, he's Johnny come lately on these Dallas Mavericks because he is a resident of Dallas, Texas. So
sorry.
Sorry. Ooh. So, but anyway,
I heard he likes the Cowboys too.
They're going to have to lift some weights during the offseason because they are losing to a better squad. And it's just that the Celtics traditionally have had a great franchise with Bill Russell and Larry Bird and many other Celtics to this point, including as recently as Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Boy, Jaylen Brown is just awesome. Jason Tatum is outstanding and actually part of my wife's family. So, but at any rate, that's awesome that is the deal. But I noticed, Mac Beats, that Luka Doncic has been crying with these referees, and I got a little tape here that I'd like to show you. My Luka crying with these referees, man. He's always crying. So take a look at this tape.
I think I know which one you're talking about.
All right, we're back. What do you think about that tape, Mac Bees?
Oh man, I've never seen in history of my whole life, I've never seen a man fall from his fingernail polish being clipped. Really, I mean, he barely touched his hand, just a little bit, and the man just fell down. And he just fell down for no reason. Like, if you're gonna flop, at least make it look believable. I mean, oh my goodness. The game is becoming very different than it used to be. People was flopping then too, but at least it was some physical contact. It was a lot more athleticism. People had to get in the paint. Now everybody just want to sit back from 50 feet away and just shoot like that, and that's the whole game. Now, the greats that I remember, they were shooters, and they also got in the paint with you and played offense. Threw the ball around a little bit and really got in there with you, bumped shoulders a little bit. And now that they're really calling stuff like this, like what we just saw, they calling stuff like that, and it's really knocking the game down. It really is. I've been seeing like a general softening of basketball. I came up, I was watching men playing basketball like they trying to win something. It was competitive. And you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I know what the answer is. Draymond Green.
Yeah.
Everybody that comes in the NBA right now, what they need to do, they need to be coached by Draymond Green so they can learn how to get physical and play with passion and real athleticism in the game, because when he comes in, he is not playing. He wrong all the time, but he playing the whole time too. So that's what we got to get back to. And just somebody falling from a high five or something similar to it, or brush of the hand, that's unbelievable.
I get you on that. And in other news, something that I think that we need to talk about, we haven't forgot about Marshawn Lynch. We haven't forgot about him.
Woo!
And he's out here coaching now. Well, we're going to come back and talk about a little bit more about basketball. But he's out coaching now. He ran into a Karen. And you and I know what a Karen is. And so when he ran into this Karen, he was coaching this Karen's son, and she did not like the cursing that he was doing to the son, because the son wasn't doing what he was asking the kid to do, and the mother got mad. So I want you to take a look at this video, Mac Beats.
Is there a man here with you? Is not a man here with you?
But I'm here. What does that matter?
Because
my son is leaving. I don't care. It's my son.
So tell them
It's belong here too. They all
but I'll tell them that if they're not doing what they need to do, then yes, there's consequences to that. Yeah. If it takes that amount of time for when I tell a kid to do something and they're not doing what they're supposed to do, then there is consequences. Like push-ups, like running laps, like
away from your drill.
like telling them to get out of my drill if they're not participating, doing right, get out of my drill, get out of my drill, or whatever it takes to get my drill.
Well, we're back. What about that video?
It looks like Marshawn Lynch was using the F word. Well, if she has never used the N word, then I'll go ahead and criticize Marshawn for using the F word. You can tell what that's about. You can tell what that whole thing was about.
You think so?
Because coaches have been doing that. I played ball in school. Coaches cussed, coaches fussed, coaches yelled, and coaches made stuff happen. I guarantee you that young man has heard that word beforehand, before he got to that field. And if the coach is screaming at you and telling you to do something and you're not doing it, eventually something's going to come out. And what I like about the situation is that Marshawn was like, hey, you got a man with you? Because he didn't want to raise his voice at her. Right. He was controlling himself and trying to control the situation and not raise his voice at her, because she was raising her voice at him as adults. So when you coach it and when you're doing athletics, it's serious. And if you look at Marshawn Lynch's background and look where he came from, that's normal in a way. You're going to hear some of those words in athletics, coaching, especially at the level that they were doing. I don't know. I don't think that he should be in athletics if he's not doing what the coach is telling him to do, and he's sensitive too.
Seems like they were sensitive, and Marshawn did not get into beast mode.
Marshawn went into smart mode. Do you see in that tape? He was walking away. He was walking away, turning the other way. She was trying to get in his face because she knows that everything in the world is on her side. That's why she was in that man's face, yelling and pointing in his face. You saw it.
Now, for those of you who are pursuing professional sports, I'm talking to you right now. If you know somebody who is younger that is pursuing professional sports, and they could be too small, they could be too big, they could be too slow, well, there's always hope, and you should keep hope alive in terms of your dreams. And Mugsy Boggs, the professional ex-basketball player, can give you some insight on never giving up. Take a look at this.
Any NBA coach, scout, GM, or whatever, they was probably, real concerned about my size and questionable about, high school, college is different level. The NBA is a totally different world. Yeah. So, I got invited to the combine, Portsmouth in Chicago. Me and Scottie Pippen happened to be on the same team because Scottie was projected to go late first as well. But at our performance in Portsmouth, we got invited to Chicago, and from that moment, we put on such a show, and he was happened to be on my team. His stock risen all the way up to 5, and I went number 12. So, we all became first round picks.
Mugsy Boggs, man, what a great smaller player, but outstanding nonetheless, MacBeast.
He reminds me of how I felt about Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson, I didn't get to see Bugsy play, but I got to see Allen Iverson play. And when you saw him come on to the court, when you seen him hit the wood, you knew it was going to get crazy. He wasn't as tall as everybody, but every play, he was on the ground. He was on the hardwood, on his face, popping up to be the first one to get on defense. So that passion is more important than any size, any day. Somebody that's not running, not moving, not really trying to get into the game, that's not as strong as somebody like Allen Iverson or Bugsy, who really put the passion into the game.
Now, and Tom Brady has won over 4 Super Bowls, and he was making a speech at an organized dinner, and he had his Hall of Fame jacket on, and had his Ring of Honor jacket on for the Patriots, and I think it was that ceremony. And I'd like for you to take a look at this video regarding his ability not to give up and to be a champion. Here's Tom Brady.
I would encourage everyone to play football for the simple reason that it is hard. It's hard when you're young to wake up in the off season at 6 a.m. to go train and work out, knowing that all your friends are sleeping in and eating pancakes. It's hard when you're on your way to practice, weighed down with all your gear, and it's 90 degrees out and all the other kids are at the pool or at the beach, and your body is already completely exhausted from workouts in 2 days. It's hard to throw, catch, block, and tackle, and hit kids when they're way bigger and way more developed than you, only to go home that night bruised and battered and strained, but knowing you have to show up again the next day for just the chance to try again. But understand this, life is hard. No matter who you are, there are bumps and hits and bruises along the way. And my advice is to prepare yourself, because football lessons teach us that success and achievement come from overcoming adversity, and that team accomplishment far exceeds anyone's individual goals. To be successful at anything, the truth is you don't have to be special. You just have to be what most people aren't. Consistent, determined, and willing to work for it. No shortcuts. If you look at all my teammates here tonight, it would be impossible to find better examples of men who embody that work ethic, integrity, purpose, determination, and discipline that it takes to be a champion in life.
Well, we're back, and Tom Brady, I have to mention to you before you get all emotional and supportive, he was the main one in Deflategate. He was the main one that made sure that the ball had less air in it so he could make it more palatable for him to throw. So what do we think about Deflategate and all that pomp and circumstance he said about being great, but yet himself he cheated. He did cheat.
There was other times where the Patriots got caught as a whole cheating, where they were recording the Bengals plays in a game, and they got caught doing that, and there were no penalties. And there was another couple of times where the Patriots got caught cheating. So in a way, it's kind of like, yeah, he is great. He is great with his throws. He's great with his accuracy. He is great because he also went to Tampa Bay and he also won there as well.
He definitely did.
So either he took his greatness with him or he took his greatness and his cheating with him. Whatever you think happened. But
there's no doubt about it. He was.
I can't take that from him.
Yeah,
he's a great player.
He was a great player.
Because if he was a bad player, he wouldn't have been able to be successful in Tampa Bay.
That's true.
He wasn't a great player. He was successful without Belichick.
That's right. Belichick was just a happenstance.
Even though he took a few of his favorite players that he plays with, they were with him too.
Yeah.
So he was pretty much on a familiar team. So if the offense is familiar to you, it's easier to adapt. So there were several offensive pieces that were with him as well. So that's a part of it now. You can't untie the team because the offense is what was great as well. We have to mention them too. But what he said is right. What he said is real. Everything that anybody has ever done worth doing, it took a lot of effort.
He's right about that. He's right. I agree with you, man. As to take us home, we're going to watch a couple of parents see their son in a Detroit Tiger baseball uniform hit his first home run ever. And this is really a joy to look at, to see parents really appreciate the greatness of their sons, just like I've had the opportunity to do. So let's take a look at this. Wow. That was nice for them to see their son hit his first home run, Mac Beats.
They probably been waiting on that for a minute. They've been watching him swing that bat for a long time, and they saw him hit that run. It just made their whole day.
Right, it did. It actually did. You could see it on their faces, man. It's really to go home. Really nice to go home with, man. Love to do our first sports show. I appreciate you tuning in, turning on, telling a friend. And Mac Beast, thank you for being there. Really appreciate you, man, and all these insights that you gave us.
Always.
Take us home.
ATL FM.
Good night and good day. We'll see you next sports report. Tune in, turn on, tell a friend. Southern Soul, ATL, FM.com.